Hello students, welcome to today's class. Today let's start with an example. If the cost of a pizza is 5 rupees, how to write this in an equation? If the cost of a pizza or if a cost of a burger is 5 rupees, how to write this in an equation? A little bit. That pizza or burger can be considered as a variable. Cost of a pizza or burger. This x is what? Your pizza or burger. The cost of this pizza is equals to 5 rupees. In fact, this 5 rupees cost of pizza is not available in the market with 5 rupees. Cost of a pizza is equals to 5 rupees. So this x stands for pizza or what you can write burger. This gives me an equation and this becomes an equation. Can you name the equation? This is called a linear equation. So what is the name of the equation? It's a linear equation. Linear equation. So what is the power of x? I think the power of x is 1. The power of x is equals to 1. Can you tell me if the power of x becomes 2, what is the name of that? If the power of x is equals to 1, that is called linear equation. What happens if the power of x becomes 2? Now from here your curiosity is increasing. You are becoming more curious to know what happens if the power of x becomes 2. If the power of x becomes 2, then if the power of x becomes 2, this equation is called a quadratic equation. Let me repeat. What is the name of this equation? Quadratic equation. If the power of x becomes 2, that is called quadratic equation. So linear equation means if the power of x is variable is 1, if the power of x becomes 2, that is called quadratic equation. Now today's topic is nothing but your introduction to quadratic equation. So first, what is a quadratic equation? Let me write few examples. Suppose x square plus 5x plus 6 is equals to 0. So what is the today's chapter? It's a quadratic equation. So now we are going to discuss about the quadratic equation. X square plus 5x plus 6 is equals to 0. Is it a quadratic equation? Yes. X square minus 9 is equals to 0. Is it a quadratic equation? Yes. 2x square is equals to 4. Is it a quadratic equation? Yes. 5x square minus 9x plus 6 equals to 0. I think these are all examples of a quadratic equation. The reason is, in all the cases, the power of x is 2. The power of x is equals to 2. So what is the learning point we got today? If the power of x becomes 2, then that is called a quadratic equation. Now the next is how to represent. What is the general form of the quadratic equation? The general form of the quadratic equation. So let me write what is the general form. So the next heading is a general form of quadratic equation. What we can say a general form, or we can say the standard form. The standard form of the quadratic equation. This is the standard form of quadratic equation. Remember, this is the standard form of the quadratic equation, where your a, b, this a and b, these are called coefficients. What are these a, b? These are called the coefficients, and C is the constant. I think these are completely the repeated case of the quadratic polynomial. Then what is the difference between the quadratic polynomial and quadratic equation? If I erase this part, this becomes your quadratic polynomial. Getting this now, this equation, this is not an equation, this becomes a polynomial. The name of the polynomial is quadratic polynomial. Quadratic because power of x highest power is 2. But if I write equals to 0, this becomes an equation. What is the name of the equation? The name of the equation is quadratic equation. So the difference between quadratic polynomial and quadratic equation, nothing. Only if it becomes quadratic equation equals to 0. And what are this? A, B, these are the real coefficients. C is the constant. Now, next we are going to discuss or how to find. Now, I am giving some questions. So you have to find what is the value of A, B and C. A, B and C. And the most important conditions for the quadratic equation is, in this, ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0. The most important condition is this a should never be equals to 0. A should never be equals to 0. A may be anything except 0. So this must be a non-zero quantity, non-zero. Why? Because if a becomes 0, this entire quadratic equation becomes a linear equation. Look at it. If I write a equals to 0, what it becomes? 0 into x square plus bx plus c equals to 0. 0 multiplied by anything becomes 0. So this entire term becomes 0. Finally, I am getting bx plus c is equals to 0, which is my linear equation because the highest power of x is 1. So most important condition is, in this ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0, you are to remember this a should never be equals to 0. This is the most important condition for becoming a quadratic equation. This a should never be equals to 0. Next one. Now, how to check whether an equation is a quadratic equation or not? Let's discuss checking an equation. To checking the equation. How to check the equation, whether the given equation is a quadratic equation or not? If it is given x into x plus 1 is equals to x square plus 5. Let me check whether this equation is your quadratic equation or not. So for that I have to multiply, left side I have to multiply. X into x becomes x square plus x into 1 becomes x is equals to x square plus 5. Now bring from right side to left side all the terms. X square plus x minus x square minus 5 becomes 0. This plus x square minus x square gets cancelled. What remains? X minus 5 equals to 0. Now you tell me whether this is a quadratic equation. No, never. Why? Because the highest power of x is 1. Therefore this is not a quadratic equation. So like this, few equations will be given to, and you have to check from there whether this is a quadratic equation or not. Let me start the second one. This is the first. Second, if I check x plus 2 whole square is equals to x into x minus 5. Let me check whether this equation is a quadratic equation or not. X plus 2 whole square, this becomes a formula of a plus b whole square. This becomes a and this is your b. So a plus b whole square is your a square plus b square, which is 2 square is 4 plus 2ab. 2 into a into b, that is, this gives me 4x. 2 to the 4 is equals to x into x square minus 5x. Now if I bring all the terms from right to left, let's see what it becomes. Minus x square plus 5x, the right side becomes 0. Plus x square minus x square again cancelled, giving me 5x plus 4x is your 9x. 9x plus 4 equals to 0. Now you tell me whether this is a quadratic equation or not a quadratic equation. In fact, this is not a quadratic equation. Again, this is not a quadratic equation. Quadratic equation. Understood why it is not a quadratic equation? Because finally I am getting a linear equation. In spite of quadratic equation, finally I am getting a linear equation. So therefore definitely this is not a quadratic equation. So like this various examples will be given to you, means various equations will be given to you, and he will ask you check whether this equation is a quadratic equation or not. Understood? Now next I'll just give the task, and you are to find the value of A, B and C. Few questions I'll give you. In that you are to find what is the value of A, B and C. Find A, B and C. These values you have to find from the following quadratic equation. From the following quadratic equation. Following quadratic equation. First is x square is equals to 5. You must write what is A, what is B and what is C. Second is x square plus 1 equals to 0. You have to find A, B and C. Third is 2x square minus 5 is equals to 0. The fourth is x square minus 5x plus 6 is equals to 7. The fifth is x square plus 6x plus 8 is equal to 9. In all these cases, you have to check yourself. What to check? Whether you know or not what is the value of A, B and C from this quadratic equation. I think these are all quadratic equations because this forms in the form of, means the highest power of x is 2. Definitely these are quadratic equations. One thing you have to keep in mind, while finding the value of A, B, C, you must keep in your mind this is the general form of, or the standard form. General form or the standard form. What you can say, it is a general form of quadratic equation, or this is a standard form of quadratic equation. General form or standard form of the quadratic equation, this you must remember. While finding A, B, C, this must be, you have to compare. The coefficient x square is your A, coefficient x is your B and C is your constant. So from this, with the help of this equation, you have to find what are the values of A, B and C. A, B, C. This must be, I think, about the quadratic equation you got. Quadratic polynomial becomes quadratic equation if you write equals to 0. And A will never be equals to 0. If A becomes 0, this quadratic equation becomes a linear equation. So with this you can, I think, find, you can check also how to find whether the given equation is a quadratic equation or not. In the next video, we are going to discuss how to find the zeros or the roots of the quadratic equation. How to find the roots of the quadratic equation by methods, factorization method, very simplest method. So in the next video, we are going to discuss about, we are going to learn how to find the roots of the quadratic equation by factorization method, which is very simple. I'll make you very simple and graphical method. But next class we'll discuss about how to learn how to find the roots of the quadratic equation. In the next video we'll discuss.